which is about a minute away.
I haven't got my costume on.
We just like to get the YouTube live up.
Yeah, thanks, Elliot.
No worries.
Oh, he did put his crown on. I better put my hat on.
What's a golden anniversary?
I know. I've got to go golden.
Come on. It's either that or these unicorn horns.
Are they for Chris Reidy?
No, look, there's a wave out there for you, Beck.
Oh, Chris,
Oh,
that backdrop
Chris.
is up.
Oh, look at that, everyone. What a backdrop. Oh.
Okay, I can see we're live on YouTube and the Arts Front site.
Checking, would you like to do music first or let everyone in and then do music?
Let everyone in and explain what's happening.
Great.
Yeah.
Arts Front, thank you for the notes. We'll make sure that we do all of those wonderful updates at the beginning. Is that suitable? And also thank you for having us as well.
So nice. For the 50th.
Thanks for coming.
We're specialising in celebrations. Tristan and I have started doing DJing for weddings.
We DJ'd for Ro Allen, the Commissioner for Gender and Sexuality, for their wedding.
Great party.
The Victorian Commissioner.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, good on brand, Chris Reidy, on brand.
Correct. So Tristan, will you introduce everyone before we start the dancing? Or...
I will.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Elliot. Great message. Yeah, thanks, Ray and Marissa.
Oh, maybe just right. Oh, I was just going to say, people come in as they go. We don't have like a big bunch that just arrive. So,
oh, great.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's great.
You can start chatting if you like.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, is it 12 o'clock?
I think so.
My goodness me. One and all, welcome to the Little Lunch 50th anniversary. I'm wearing my golden crown because it's a golden celebration of all things Arts Front, Feral Arts and Little Lunches online. My name is Tristan Meecham and I am coming to you from the lands of the Bundjalung people in the Northern Rivers. This isn't a green screen. For those that are blind or low vision, I am a white bald man with a white shirt on and a golden crown on my head. I am absolutely thrilled to be joined by my art husband, the one and only Reid, who we'll introduce you to soon, and some darling heart collaborators of ours, Elisabeth Bridson and Lizzi Craig, as well as Chris Reidy, the manager of the Victorian Seniors Festival. Before we begin, today's Little Lunch will go for 30 minutes. It is being recorded and streamed live so that you can rewatch this fabulousness time and time again. It's available online for viewing afterwards on www.lleol.com.au. When you join, please mute your microphones upon joining and when not speaking. You're invited to introduce yourself in the Zoom chat, and please also let us know what country you are on today. Please also use the chat function to ask any questions throughout the event. And please note also that captions are also available. You can turn the captions button on. There is closed captioning available. And we're very grateful that this is also being signed live. Auslan signing is available So you are able to pin the video, the Auslan signing video, should you wish to watch. But because this is the 50th celebration of Little Lunch Online, we think it's important to start with what all the Queen's men have been doing quite regularly, which is dancing to video cameras together, trying to find some weird ways that we can commune during these turbulent times. And so put on your gold outfits, celebrate all things Little Lunch as we start off the 50th anniversary with a little dance for you all.
Whenever this world is cruel to me, I got you to help me forgive. Ooh, you make me live now, honey. Ooh, you make me live. If you think you're getting away, I will prove you wrong. I'll take you all the way. Stay another song. I'll blow you all away. Hey, it's murder on the dance floor, but you better not kill the groove. Hey, hey, it's murder on the dance floor, but you better not steal the moves. DJ, gonna turn this house around somehow. Murder on the dance floor, but you better not kill the groove. Hey, hey, it's murder on the dance floor, but you better not steal the moves. DJ, gonna burn this goddamn house right down. Rescue me, or take me in your arms. Rescue me, I want your tender charm, 'cause I'm lonely and I'm blue. I need you and your love too. Come on and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. Oh, I need you by my side. Can't you see that I'm lonely? Rescue me. For you, so long I've been saving. Tonight was made for me and you. You can ring my bell, my bell, ring. You can ring my bell, ring my bell, my bell, ring. You can ring my Stop right now, thank you very much. I need somebody with a human touch. Hey, you, always on the run. Gotta slow it down, baby, gotta have some fun. Shake, shake, shake. It's gonna be alright. Shake, shake, shake. 'Cause the proof's in. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off. Heartbreaker's gonna break, 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 break. And the faker's gonna fake, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off.
Oh my goodness me. LGBTIQ AP plus OMG and allies. What an amazing way to celebrate Little Lunch's 50th golden anniversary. And we're very grateful to have such wonderful advocates in the art industry who have been leading the way and having such important conversations during these very turbulent times for many communities. We, as part of All the Queen's Men, specifically would like to acknowledge all First Nation communities here. I would like to start by acknowledging that I come to you from the lands of the Bundjalung people in the Northern Rivers. I pay my respects to elders past and present, to all First Nation people, and we also acknowledge the continuous collaborations of community, the values to the earth, and also great respect to elders. Together with Reid, we are All the Queen's Men. And Beck, maybe you might like to give a little bit of a insight into our company values and mission.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Feral Arts, for having us. I'm coming to you from Luturicha, the lands of the Palawa and the Pakana people. It's -5 in Tasmania. Thank you, Tristan. For those of you, I'm just going to do a quick audio description. I'm a white woman. I'm wearing a white t-shirt and a red and purple scarf with a little golden sparkly hat on to celebrate the 50th of Feral Arts, 50 days of going strong. All the Queen's Men have been going, speaking of going strong, for about 10 years. And we really are most passionate about collaborating with communities of all different shapes and sizes and identities, to create something transformative all together by our powers combined. And that's often in using various art forms. It's often site-specific, our work. We like to be out in the world. We're not really sure what to do in black boxes. And we've traveled the world.
I don't think many people are.
We've traveled the world with our works, but we're very passionate more and more about working hyper-locally. So it's wonderful to be working on the other side of the world. And now, as all these borders dissolve, we're learning new ways that we can do both. But also, case in point, today is really about celebrating some of the people that we have worked with at a hyper-local level, really for about the last 5 years. We started with a project called the Coming Back Out Ball, which was really a community building initiative that culminated in this beautiful big celebration, a fabulous big ball that took over the town hall all those years ago in Melbourne. And to our great delight, it was a perfect opportunity to really recognise those older members of the LGBTI community who had gone through so much historical discrimination, and we wanted to acknowledge that we're here today. We're standing on the shoulders of giants because of these largely unrecognised people. So
that's right, the kings and queens and non-binary royalty of our community. And I have to say, we are pretty thrilled to also have two of our loving collaborators here with us as well. Lizzi, Craig, I know you're here joining us on your phone. You have spent so much time in your life working to support the social needs of the LGBTI community. Can you give us a little bit of insight into some of the specific things that older LGBTI people may be facing during this time?
Yes, can you hear me okay? Good. Look, I think, and myself included, a lot of LGBTI people live alone. They don't have partners or family around them. And I think loneliness in isolation, if I can say that, is one of the hardest things. And I know from people I've spoken to that people have fared much better if they've had a partner around or are living with someone. But for those that are living alone, it's very difficult. And hours and sometimes days of not actually speaking to anyone. And I guess the positive thing about this is that a lot of older LGBTI people do have the blueprint. They are resilient and they do pull on this resilience. And I know for me, I had my little grandson every day for the last few years. And just before the COVID, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which means 4 injections a day. So I was a big part of his care and picking him up from school and felt like I had a purpose. And then when we were isolated, everything stopped, as it did for a lot of people. And I think the things that get people through are their lived experiences, particularly those who have lived longevity with HIV, Tristan. they know what isolation is, and they know what it's like to lose lots of partners and friends. So they can pull on those sorts of resiliences. But for a lot of people, I honestly don't know how they fared through the virus and what their mental health has been. This really concerns me.
Lizzi, I think you bring up a really important point, is that many people through these times in COVID are experiencing social isolation for the first time. But social isolation is not unique to many people in the community. You mentioned obviously a generation that has lived through a time when they were rejected from friends and family during a horrible epidemic. Elisabeth, I know that we have spoken around making sure that our community can try and connect. How has it been for you during this time?
Well, as a social introvert, the introvert's very, very happy. I don't have to leave my house, and I've got lots of things I can do here. But the social part of me is really, really missing human company and human contact. So much so that it's almost physically painful. But connecting through things like this, the Australian All the Queen's Men Dance Club, the Scottish one, because I was actually in Scotland when Aussies were called back to Australia and had to cut a trip short. I was visiting my son and daughter-in-law and their new baby, and I'd managed to get to one of the Scottish dance clubs, so I met some of the people from Inverness and from Glasgow. So I've been attending both of the Aussie and Scottish dance clubs. But I think one of the problems is one of the regulars at the Melbourne Dance Club lives not far from me, and I ran into him when I went up to the supermarket. I scuttle out to the shops and scuttle home again, but happened to run into this man, and he's not getting on because he's not familiar with how to use the technology, and so he's missing both the physical and the online dance club, which is a bit of a shame because I think he'd really enjoy it. So yeah,
I think that's been really important, and one of the very significant things that All the Queen's Men have been thinking a lot about, those that are digitally competent, those that know how to use Zoom, but actually that there are so many in our community, a number of older members who aren't able to connect on Zoom, or let's be honest, don't want to, because it's so weird to try and work out how to use.
True, but other friends I keep encouraging to do it who've not been to the real life one, and they're going, oh, but I'm too shy.
Absolutely, and that's been a really great thing. What's happened is that we've realised that there are many people that would like to continue the digital dance club after this time when we can commune together, because it's a way for people to connect and to celebrate and be with each other without having to go outside of their house, to step outside, to out themselves, and to be in the safety of their own home. Lizzi, I know that you mentioned forms of resilience that are part of our community as well. And you were obviously so instrumental in looking after a whole generation who have lived through the HIV and AIDS epidemic as well. What are some of the things that you can provide to people to think of, notions of resilience, of strength, to be able to move through these times and then transcend into our future?
Well, I guess I can only speak from myself on this experience that I've just been through as well. But the things I pulled on for myself was even my past history of my parents, thinking about their journeys and what they went through during the Second World War. I've been very lucky to have had a pattern of behaviour that's actually set up a lot of strengths in me. I don't think I've cooked so much in my life as I have during this time. But it's been fantastic because I've tried recipes that when you live alone, you don't cook for yourself. Yes. And I just thought, well, damn it, I'm going to cook. So the family and the neighbours have had some lovely little goodies coming from my place, which we leave on the front doorsteps. Yes. I know with some of my elderly neighbours in the community, I ring them every day or every second day if I think they're at risk, as some of my friends have done with me, which has been wonderful. you know, I can't do this Zoom stuff, but I can do FaceTime.
Yeah.
So we'd have a champagne time between 5 and 6.
Oh, do you? Every
Yes.
day?
Yes. So the alcohol levels got up just a tad.
That's all
But
right.
we had lovely, like, an hour's conversation of cheering each other and giving ourselves permission to feel, but to also give each other strength.
Mm.
And I think that contact, whether it be by phone, whether it's walking the dog and standing across the street, I think that to have that human contact, as Elisabeth was saying, to be divorced from that is absolutely cruel. And you do nearly go up the wall. You just starve for some sort of human contact. I am very much a social person, and I love people. So at times it's been hard, but I've watched great movies. I've had some wonderful gay friends that live up in Druin that have driven down with their box sets for me to view. So I guess that during this time, it's a matter of just keeping in touch on Facebook, sending funny videos. This is what the gay community have done for me, which has been wonderful. We have a damn good laugh.
I told you not to tell them about that video.
Oh, I'm not going to tell them about it. I'll just leave it to their imagination. But, you know, just to be able to laugh and have a good belly laugh and then text them back and say, look, I'm just sitting here crying with laughter. That was for me fantastic, and also vice versa. The global community's been wonderful. Most of my family's in Britain. They're doing it extremely tough. They're into their 12th week at the moment of isolation. And, you know, I've had some wonderful British humour sent to me.
Well, speaking of bellies, my new drag name is Ms. Carbohydrate. And I definitely understand the idea of cooking an apple pie or 3. Lizzi,
Yes.
Your resilience has always been maintained through your commitment to the community as well. And I know, Elisabeth, as well, during these times, you've turned to Digital Dance Club and the arts to connect you with your community who you would normally see at the Melba Spiegel tent every month. What has that been like to be able to be part of something that's now connecting across the 7 seas?
Oh, Tristan, it's wonderful. You know, because of the way it works, once a month in Scotland and once a fortnight here, there's usually one weekend a month when it doesn't happen, and that's the weekend I struggle when I don't have dance club to go to. Having said that, though, the last couple, not the last one, the one before, the Melbourne one, I actually was very, very sad at the end of it, because it was, you know, not the real thing. Sorry. So yes, it's good, and I hang out for it, and I really, really look forward to it, but it's got the flip side as well.
Absolutely. I think during this time, what we're realizing is how important it is to commune together, to celebrate together, and also the privileges that we take for granted. A simple moment of touch, of connection, of being together with like-minded families, both biological and logical, are incredibly important. And I know the queer community have done that so often, rallying together to be able to come out through many adversities. And Lizzi, you can attest to that as well. During this time, we have been really aware of the struggle that older members of our community have faced. The digital divide that feral arts are writing on online is really real in terms of not being able to see each other's faces. Lizzi, today you have generously spent time to try and connect onto Zoom, but actually these moments of being together, really of not being together, as Elisabeth, you say, really reveal how important community is.
Absolutely.
One of the things that we are aware of is continuing to build community as well. And so the learning that all the Queen's men have gained through this time is that we can't wait to get back together dancing at the Spiegel tent. And let me say that outfit that I'm making will be very, very special for the relaunch of our dance club together. But our commitment will also be to continue to maintain this online community as well, so that those people who don't necessarily feel comfortable to come out during these times will be able to join us through Digital Dance Club. And we do a little shout out now that everyone should join us this Sunday for Digital Dance Club online at 4 p.m. as well. This is a nice little segue to lean into some other cultural activities, because I think it's important to think of how the arts and community are really building and holding people's health and well-being during these times. And we need to start getting better at articulating the importance of arts and culture in building our community, our sense of self, and our way to be able to move through turbulent times like we're in. All the Queen's Men would also just like to acknowledge, as we did at the beginning, our respect for the queer, the rainbow elders, the LGBTI elders as well, and learning from First Nation cultures who are so, have such an intrinsic respect for the elders of their community in terms of being able to lead the way, to shape our futures. And Lizzie, you so accurately reminded us of a time that our queer community has had to live through and also and build together as well. One of the things that Beck and I are passionate about is continuing to build cultural activities during this time, and we're absolutely thrilled to have the manager of the Victorian Seniors Festival showing off on a beautiful beach, Chris Reidy. Chris, how are you going?
Well, and look, this has been a really good gathering, and thanks for the opportunity, Tristan. I'm very well.
Fantastic. We're really grateful that you're here. One of the honours that Beck and I had was to be able to collaborate with the Victorian Seniors Festival, a new program of work that's around connecting with older members in Victoria, but obviously can be seen around the world. What do you think, thinking around the future, how important is it for government to connect with the arts in order to be able to move through to combat social isolation and to ensure that the elders of our community are heralded as our leaders?
Yeah, thanks, Tristan. Look, yeah, the festival here in Victoria is run by the state government. We've all learned a lot, and I think it's been really insightful to me to learn how many performers, older performers that we normally work with, to understand the depth of their commitment to performing for their age group and those older than them. They really want to be doing that. And we're currently giving them that opportunity in certain ways, but looking to the future, I think I've learnt another depth, if you like, Tristan, around why it's important to bring performers together with the older communities scattered around Victoria. They play such an important role in reflecting their stories, but also opening their mind to new stories.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you were so quick to do was to acknowledge that there were many artists that you had already programmed in your festival, honouring those wonderful contracts and performers and giving them an opportunity to reimagine themselves in an online context. We have to acknowledge your leadership and brilliance in shifting the Victorian Seniors Festival to the platform that it is. A little bit of a plug. Chris, can you tell us about what is the Reimagined Festival in 2020?
Yeah, thanks, Tristan. Look, I realised back in March, once the government had made it pretty clear that October, which is normally when the festival runs for a month, that it's unlikely that we'll have any big gatherings of people. Definitely unlikely, perhaps some small pop-ups. We made a commitment that terrible Black Friday that we would pay out our performers that we'd contracted and pay out those who we were about to contract, come what may. But we realised then, okay, what can we do? And putting together this team of producers, of which Kristen and Beck are the creative directors, and Andrew Gill's our producer, and Leo Dale is doing the video editing, and others behind that we give them an opportunity to learn new skills. And as a broader number of older Victorians decided to get more deeply involved online, those that could, it was an ideal opportunity. So what we've done ever since the beginning of May, when we started the festival, and it's going to run till the end of October, is every week we produce 3 new broadcasts which feature a particular performer or presenter. Beck or Tristan interview them. We learn about their backstory, why they do what they do, their connection with the festival. And as I said earlier, the importance they place on performing for their peers and those older. And so by the end of October, we'll have 90 of those broadcasts done, which is a great thing. The other thing we learned though, Tristan, was half the population gets up and turns the computer on and the other half turn the radio on. And we're modeling a whole series of radio programming now on a similar model to what we've done with the videos.
Absolutely. I think what you've done is absolutely amazing. There will be such a wonderful library that people can turn to have a moment of reprise. But I think it's also important for those artists listening. Many are facing a digital fatigue, lots of online content, but that's not necessarily the case for older members of our community as well. So your program is specific for a wonderful group of people who don't necessarily have the privilege of coming together in cultural contexts. And so the 3 videos that you're making really do set hearts and minds ablaze during these times. Really beautiful performers like Kutcha Edwards, Deborah Cheatham, Tanya Kernigan, Uncle Jack Charles, Limini S Puppet Theatre, and the wonderful curation that you have ensured is that there is such a diverse range of artists, older artists prioritised, but also a diverse range of artistic mediums.
Yeah, I think the important thing there is that the way we've shaped them, Tristan, is that they are conversation starters. People, I mean, we've all watched lots and lots of performances online, but these broadcasts offer an opportunity to broaden our minds and to engage with in new discussions.
Absolutely. I'm well aware that half an hour goes by as if it's only 1 minute, which is one of the benefits and also the pros and the cons of a little lunch, because essentially I'd like a degustation. I've just started my entree and I'm ready for my next course. I haven't even touched my dessert and we've already got to pack up and leave. But before we do, I would just like to acknowledge the wonderful work of Artsfront Feral Arts in creating this series. It's gone 50 strong, so we celebrate with your golden anniversary. But in doing that as well, we would also just like to say we are so grateful to have Elisabeth Bridson and Lizzi Craig. We just want to acknowledge how these tricky times for you both, but just extend our personal, Beck and my personal gratitude that you're here, that your absolute hearts, souls, and lived experience and values inspire both of us daily. And we're very grateful that you've been able to join us. We'd also like to acknowledge that disgusting backdrop, Chris Reidy, and all of the skills that you're doing. The Victorian Seniors Festival is really an important initiative during these times. And both Beck and I are very grateful to be a small part of that.
Thank you.
We have come to the end of this conversation as well. We would like to thank obviously our Auslan interpreters, the whole team at Feral Arts, and encourage everyone to join for the 51st. Maybe there won't be a dance, and I'm sorry that we didn't try and work out whether that could be broadcast live because the whole thing might be taken down, but let's give it a go anyway. And thank you, Team Feral Arts, for joining us. And also, before we go, I think it's very important just to finish, we'll go over 1 minute if that's okay. She's going to hate me for it, so apologies around this, but I think it's very important that we just acknowledge Reid's birthday! Happy birthday, Beck!
Birthday, Beck.
You know, it does not make much sense. There ought to be a law against
Have a great day,
anyone who takes
everyone.
offense
It's a terrible version.
at in your celebration, cause we all know in our mind that there ought to be a time that we can set aside to show just how much we love you, and I'm sure you will agree it couldn't fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Never understood how a man who died for good.
Oh my goodness me. That was a terrible
Hey, happy
version.
birthday, Beck.
That was a terrible version